From ABC News, Justin Trudeau says he'll resign as Prime Minister.
No.
It's the end of the Castro legacy.
Oh, no.
This goes to this is like I made this point earlier. Like overall, the behavior of governments in the West during COVID is largely frowned upon by the populations. How they acted, like they're sick of it.
It's almost like if you lock people in their houses for no reason.
You guys know why Justin Trudeau's resigning?
Because even Canada's like Indians.
Because Donald Trump.
Was it the blackface scandal?
It wasn't.
He was also a sheik.
Wait, let's keep listing all of the scandals Trudeau's been involved in, because the answer is no to all of them, which is insane. Donald Trump nuked Justin Trudeau. This all started with the Trump threat of tariffs, and then it was Chrystia Freeland, I think her name is. I don't know much about Canada. Got into a fight with Trudeau over it, then resigned. He wanted to move her out, saying no. Trudeau cowardly against Donald Trump. Did you guys see the story?
He went to Mar-a-Lago, right?
Yeah. Did you hear the story that Ben Shapiro
Kissed
told?
the ring.
Ben said it was something like Trump goes to Trudeau and says, "What's the one thing that I could do that would destroy your economy?" And Trudeau said something like, I guess if you put a tariff on our goods, that would.
Oh, you wouldn't want to do that, eh? Oh, you don't want to do that,
And then Trump said, "There's the number one rule in negotiations is never answer the question, what is the one thing I could do to destroy you? Second thing is, I'm going to put a tariff on your cars and destroy your economy."
He was like, don't put the tariffs on the hockey sticks. Just don't put the tariffs on the hockey sticks.
Not the maple syrup. So
we want the north side of Niagara Falls.
That just goes to show how terrible of a leader Justin Trudeau is. Like how bad, like literally walked into the trap that Donald Trump set.
Yeah.
Well, it's not just that.
Great either.
Correct. And his uncle, also bad.
It's the art of the deal.
Well, and both figuratively and literally, to be honest. That being said, Donald Trump's threat of tariffs prove a few things. One, like you mentioned, Trudeau is a terrible leader, and I don't even know how he made it as long as he did. It's been since 2015. It's almost 10 years. But the other thing is, it shows that U.S. presidents have been propping Canada up to the detriment of the American people.
Yeah, the United States.
If the Canadian government cannot stand without us giving them freebies,
Invade.
No, I think we don't want Canada.
I got some oil up there.
No, North Puerto Rico.
I want the America's hockey team to be as good as possible.
So long as it's a non-voting territory.
Yes,
make them
North
a territory.
Puerto Rico. Exactly. Yeah.
You don't give them the right.
North
we need to annex. We need to annex Canada before a Canadian team wins the Stanley Cup.
How about this? If we do invade Canada, we'll surround its government and isolate it, and then not let it be part of the rest of the United States. So we'll just control the territories by conquest.
We'll bring it full circle back to the old insurrection. When in War of 1812, that's why Washington burned, because we were off trying to.
We almost took Montreal, bro.
Yeah,
we already control Canada. Clearly, because Donald Trump just made their prime minister resign. If tariffs are going to destroy their economy, we already control them. So we don't need to do anything other than use soft power and threats of tariffs or threats of economic pressure to make them comply. There's not enough of them to actually be able to produce enough goods and services to put them in a position where they don't need the United States. They've forever relied on the United States for their defense. The United States is 100% is what protects Canada. Even though they're like their own country, they are absolutely at the total, they will bend to the United States will every single time. Like Justin Trudeau tried to go ahead and stand up to Donald Trump a couple times and make it seem like, he was in charge. He wasn't. He never was. Canada doesn't have the ability to stand up to the United States. If the United States really wants something, they will comply.
Yes.
They're already a vassal state, period.
They must also know that a lot of their citizens are probably looking at like, you mean I could be an American? These people have had their guns taken, their freedoms taken. And I think a lot of people are like this, that sounds actually great.
I'll tell you a funny
Just make
story.
it North Dakota. Just extend North Dakota.
I think I was in Toronto, and a friend of mine who's Canadian was like, "Did you know that Toronto is the most diverse city in the world?" And I was like,
more diverse than New York?
I was like, "Really? Is that true?" And I looked it up. It's not. And I was like, it's actually majority, but they like to say this.
It's like Portland.
because it has more immigrants than any other city or something like that. They're using some twist of, reasoning to justify how they're claiming this. And I'm like, actually, it's majority white. And they got really mad at me for saying that.
No, it's Quebecois. There's Quebecois there.
Very, very white.
They're Martha's
place.
Vineyard.
But this is the thing about Canada. We can make the argument that Canadians want their guns and their speech and all these things. Look at the trucker protest. But Canada has imported a ton of migrants from all over the world into their cities to create this multicultural place. And now it's dominated by a liberal government that falls the moment Trump says, I'm going to tax you.
They live completely and totally at the pleasure of the United States.
Yes.
This is where we're going to. We will be much like the UK and Canada, unless things turn around. It's looking like with Donald Trump coming to office, things are going to turn around. But understand, man, it's real simple. I have heard this. I haven't fact checked it, so correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if people who are listening want to fact check this. That during the Biden administration, 15 million people came into the United States, which is the largest migration of humans in the history of humanity. Now, you can make the argument it's like only because of population growth that could happen, because when there's only 50 million people, there's no way for a migration that big to happen. But either way, that's crazy if true. I don't know if it's true or not. The point is, you bring people in and promise them free stuff. Your government can only be sustained by continually bringing people in and offering them free stuff, which means 2 generations, your entire country will collapse.
Yeah, we went to McAllen, Texas, and Jorge Ventura and I in March of 2021, right after Biden took over, and literally took the drone up, saw everybody coming in through the gaps in the wall, and then you see them on the ground, and you say, hey, why did you come here? And they all said, well, Joe Biden is president. Literally every single one that we talked to said, yes, we knew that now that Trump is out, we can come. And so, I think a lot of the blame gets placed on the people who make that trip. But it's like when you give them an open invitation, then what do you expect?
Yeah.
So it's like it's the policies that are creating the problem, and not to mention the amount of human suffering and sexual assaults that take place over the course of that journey from South America. But we met not only over the course of those 4 years going to the border, you saw the diversity of the migrants change from mostly Central Americans, Hondurans, to then Venezuelans, Colombians. And then the last time I went in October of 23, it was like Afghanis, Ghanaians. They all come over in container ships into Brazil, and then they come up through the Darien Gap. And it was just everybody from all over the world, and you have no clue. These people drop their IDs at the border, so you have no way of vetting who's.
So I did a quick fact check, and the partition of India was 15 million people migrated between India and Pakistan. So if the number is truly above 15 million, you could argue that it was the largest. There was tens of millions between the 1800s and 1900s, the European migration to the Americas. Yeah, but that was over a long period of time. 13 million Syrians were displaced, but did not migrate to any specific one location. And in World War II, they were massive refugees, but once again, not any one group moving to any one location or entering one location. And so I suppose the argument is better that the large migration would be the partition of India because it was specifically Indian people moving to Pakistan. And then as for the U.S. mass migration, it's largely Central Americans, which is from different areas coming into one place.
Yes.
So if that's the case, 15 million, so the estimates range from 10 to 15 million, it would be one of the largest mass migrations in history. It's possibly one of the largest, but we don't have the exact numbers.
Top 3.
Yeah, potentially within the top 5 is fair to say, but top 3 perhaps. Yeah. Which is still absolutely insane.
And it was all an intentional policy by the left, of Democrats.
Well, and we saw the border wall. So when we first went down there in March of 2021, we talked to the Border Patrol, and we're like, what's up with the wall? And it's just sitting in a parking lot, all these unbuilt portions of the wall. And they told us the construction crews were paid on their contracts. So they were paid to continue working, but then Biden said, cease all building of the wall, not another inch. And so they literally were just paid to twiddle their thumbs in their trailers for the extent of their contract. It's just the most infuriating thing in the world.
The slower ebb of migration to our country in the past 2 decades, right? It was a little lower than this. I mean, a lot lower than this, right? I don't think people really saw it as an issue. They're like, yeah, it's a few more people here. North Carolina had a massive hurricane, and FEMA ran out of money.
Yeah, and then they said $30 billion for a wall. Wow, that's just way too big a price tag. $150 billion They just
Anytime
came out with a report
Democrats-
as how much illegal immigration is.
Anytime Democrats say that it costs too much money, it's all BS. The United States prints the dollar. If it wants to fund a program, they just print the money. Democrats only care about things when it is functional for them to use as a reason to oppose it. They don't have any principles. They don't care about actually being fiscally responsible. The only time they talk about using about too much money or whatever is if it's a policy they don't like. It's always BS.
Yes.
Always BS.
What was the vote that came out? Democrats, 156 Democrats voted against even getting rid of the...
In the UK, too, wasn't it? Like they had a similar vote? There was a vote to deport illegal immigrants convicted of sexual abuse. And 156 Democrats, I think, said no.
Yeah, it's insane.
Like, surely we can all agree that is a bad thing, right? What about the whole Me Too movement? Have we moved on from that?
They don't care.
I believe
they don't
all
care.
women.
I
I believe
believe
all
for a
women-
modicum of
Want to
consistency.
put that on the record?
Don't. They will never be consistent. It is all BS and power for the left.
I was watching this movie called Blink Twice. Have you guys heard of it?
No.
It's a horror movie. And when we were out, I was hanging out with Allison, and we're like, let's watch a movie, and we're on Amazon, and then we see the description, and it's like, strange things are happening on an island, and then I'm just like, instantly I knew it was going to be some weird woke garbage. And then I was like, I don't know if I want to watch this. It's going to be the story about a black woman who's attacked by white guys. And it's not a bad movie, but it does have a couple woke elements in it. If they just didn't do that, it'd have been fine. Like, it doesn't matter that the main character is black. None of that matters. What matters is that at one point in the movie, she screams she can't call the police because the white men won't believe women, and no matter how many times women scream believe women, men won't listen, and these white men would rather play golf with them or some other nonsense.
I'm a white man and I believe all women, so I just debunked that whole thing.
Did this happen
I was like,
on an island? It wasn't in England? Wasn't it in
Never
London?
believe anything a woman
No,
says.
it was in the Caribbean. Actually, but the movie's a fine idea. It's got Channing Tatum, Christian Slater's in it, and it's basically about... I'm going to spoil them. I don't want to spoil the movie for you, but it's not a bad movie. It's just really annoying when right in the middle, it's like, hey, we have a plot hole. She's being attacked. Why doesn't she tell the cops? Oh, because the cops are racist and don't believe women. Perfect. Write that in. And then she yells about it, and I'm like, ugh.
We were talking about this earlier. It's we miss the suspension of disbelief. We watch movies for this, right? Watch sports. I want to zone out. I want to watch a movie. I want to watch the fights. I can't even do that anymore because there's always something implemented in the middle of it that pulls me back into reality. Like, oh yeah, that's what's going on in the world.
Okay,
I want Bruce
Denzel
Willis.
and Gladiator though. Denzel and Gladiator.
In the new one,
It's not a good movie.
Gladiator 2?
It's not a good movie, but Denzel is. It's funny because like everybody has like kind of like that pseudo.
Are you talking about Gladiator
Yeah,
2?
Gladiator 2. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I didn't see
And everyone has like that pseudo accent, like, oh yes, we are in the Roman Empire right now, and then Denzel's just like, okay. We got some it's so funny. You guys want to fight with some swords?
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. I'm fine. I want to see
It
Bruce
was
Willis
great.
duct tape a gun to his back and then scream "Yippee-ki-yay." You know what I mean? Like, none of it makes sense. Okay, but I don't care. We're here to have fun.
Well, that was like Maverick, right? Like it was the Top Gun movie with Maverick. Like there wasn't a whole lot of substance. It was just awesome Americana.
But
It was
and
Star
it
Wars.
did really, really well. Right.
They did Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People liked it.
But they should have made a bad guy. I don't understand why they were like the enemy. They didn't want to say the Russians or the Chinese or anything like that. I'm like, who cares? We do it all the time.
Well, you get banned in China. If you get banned in China, then
Right.
you lose hundreds of millions of dollars.
That's why they didn't do it because they were like, we want to market in Russia.
All right, you ready for this Quentin Tarantino tangent right here?
Sure.
Okay. So, Once Upon a Time in Tibet was the first movie to get really banned in China. That big money movie that lost hundreds of millions of dollars by getting banned in China. It was like 97. Brad Pitt was the star of that movie.
7 years in Tibet.
7 years in Tibet. Is that what I said?
Yes. You said Once Upon a Time.
Oh, 7 years in Tibet. Yes.
Invading
And
Hollywood.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Brad Pitt is the stuntman who beats the crap out of Bruce Lee.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Quentin Tarantino knew that was going to get banned in Hollywood, in China, and he did it anyways. As like that, he used Brad Pitt for that specific reason.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.